there, and welcome to another edition of What's the Word? I'm Tom Malone. I'm joined this week by Shane Mann from our sponsors, Ladbrokes, Brendan Duke in midfield, and Johnny Ward beside me here as well. How are you doing?
How are you, Tom?
Yeah, good. You? I had a bit of a stress getting here, but aside from that's fine.
Yeah, off to the Curragh.
Yeah, unbelievably, yeah. There's a clue somewhere.
Yeah, it's going to be a big year for the Curragh. Looks well, Dukey.
Well, we're about to see
relatively
today.
well,
yeah.
It's coming together.
How are you? You've had a bit of an
just back from New York, yeah. I went to Noel Gallagher last night. I mean, life just can't get Galway and Mayo on Sunday.
Yeah.
Curragh's back, Leopardstown.
Life
is good. The Ledger winner runs tomorrow.
Who's that?
33-1. All shall be revealed in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay, cool. I think we can figure it out. For those who like London horticulture. Jiggy, how about you? How's your weekend been? How's your week been?
Pretty good, Tom. Pretty good. Nice was a bit of a financial blowout for me, but 2 Curragh fixtures and Leopardstown on Sunday should redeem things.
Okay. Well, we're going to start with classic trials. We've had a week full of classic trials. Do you think, by the way, we saw a Derby winner this week, or Shuki, is that with you?
Probably not. I would say that horse of Haggis, Haggis's Young Rascal. Yeah, I'd say he's a solid each way playing the race. He'll definitely stay, and I was surprised how well he handled the track. He really did travel through that race really well. He had a nice long straight to run at. I don't think he'll quite be quick enough, but another live one for the Ledger, I'd say, not to rain on Johnny's parade.
Okay,
He
Johnny,
actually is, yeah.
anything stand out for you this week?
He was very good. I watching it all week just really reinforced what it's like watching, ants in a barrel. Like it's just it's a crazy track. Like Ross Report, which is very good though. You couldn't knock him.
You couldn't knock him.
I think it'll be a big year for Frankel as well. I'm going to tip one of his progeny later on, but I'd agree with the Haggis horse was impressive. I really liked the way he finished out his race. I think they all have Saxon Warrior to beat though. Yeah.
Right, let's start with the Bedford Oaks trials at Lingfield. That's at 155. Shane, give us a clue about prices for this one.
Prices at the moment, Tom, just in Flattering 6-5, the market leader. Stream Song 7-2. Caccini is at 5-1. Lady of Shallow 9-1. 12-1. Perfect Clarity 12-1. At Jaya, it's 25s bar. Just a few prices for the Oaks as well. Flattering 20s currently with Ladbrokes for the Oaks. 33s about Stream Song. 25 about Caccini. 25 Lady of Shallow. That's for the Epsom Classic.
Jiggy, this at Lingfield, does Aidan tends to just send a sider to get a clue, or do you think he's a genuine contender here?
Well, I don't think they know much about this filly because she went off 14-1 in Cork, so it's evidently she surprised them. So another fact-finding mission. I mean, she won by 10 lengths now. For want of a better word, you can get flattering results on that ground in Cork. I mean, I think he'll just throw plenty of runners at the Oaks, and she is a runner. It's just she's 5-4 tomorrow. She hasn't got the greatest head carriage in the world, which could be greenness. Deep ground in Cork again, you can get a funny result there. Different track, undulating, better ground. Just intuitively, she seems short of 5-4.
Would you be against her just because of the price, or would you put something up against her?
I'd put something up against her. I'm against her at the price. I just think intuitively 5-4 seems short for a horse with all those questions to answer. So the Caccini, from a good Peter Saville family, well found in the market on debut in Kempton. Not a great maiden, although the second is a solid sort of mid-80s horse, and just really impressed with her. She's a particularly athletic mover. I think she'll handle the course really well. She really uses herself, and at 9-2, I think she's a value play against the Fab.
Johnny, would you be with or against the Fab here?
I'd be against. I don't think Aidan takes Lingfield all that seriously in terms of his record in the Derby from Lingfield wouldn't be good at all. And the ground at Cork was atrocious. Like, it's been very bad for the early start of the season. We've seen some mad results. I think we saw a horse win by 30 lengths in a mile race. Now, it probably wasn't that bad, but I'm with the Frankel horse, Italia here. Just did well on debut. Be great for David Simcock to have a proper Oaks filly. I think Frankel is going to be a sensational stallion. And his horses do seem to improve, and they want distance. This horse won, I think, over a mile on debut. The form, I mean, I'm not an expert in English form. The form wouldn't be great, but you can get like 14-16-1, I think, Shane.
Yeah, around about 12s at the minute, actually.
Yeah,
so it's coming from the sport.
I think that if Aidan trained this, it would probably be 3s. Like, so I think it has a very true chance.
Classic Cheltenham previous talk. Right. Derby trial. Shane, give us a clue for the Derby trial there, 2:30.
Kew Gardens, the current favourite, Tom, at 7-4. Corelli 11-4. 11-2 then Thrave at 7-1. Night to Behold 10-1. Star of Southwold 10-1. King and Empire 14's Barges 3. moves for the Derby in Epsom. 25s we go about Kew Gardens for the Epsom Classic. 33s about Corelli and 50 about Trave.
He's just giving you the price about Kew Gardens for the Derby there, Johnny. Do you want for a different race?
He's not going to win the Derby, but I think he's a great chance in the Ledger. And the boy David Jennings, who incidentally has just come in with a load of coffee for everyone, tipped this horse up in the race.
Not enough, I don't think. Anyway, go on.
Maybe not enough coffee, but you were late, Tom.
Yeah.
He tipped this up a while back, and he won over a mile and 2 as a 2-year-old, which obviously would imply lots of stamina. I wouldn't be too bothered about his comeback run. Aidan's horses were very, very quiet in April, and I'd be advising people to get on for the Ledger now. I mean, Saxon Warrior is favoured, I think, for the Ledger in general. Like, they're not going to go the Ledger.
I can't see any logic to it. Can you see any logic to it?
You couldn't see any logic to Camelot, though, could you?
Camelot was a bang average horse, so to win in the overall scheme of things, even though he won a Guineas and a Derby, he was a fairly average winner of both actually, and they went down that route because I think maybe they had
a new statue, didn't they?
Maybe they want a new statue. They had a slight sporting mindset. This horse is different.
Yeah.
Monju's,
they're going back to 10 furlongs after this.
This horse is by Deep Impact. He's going to have a deep impact himself as a stallion, flattering. And I think they're going to have him. I'd say they're nearly reluctant to run him in the Derby because, with a degree of reluctance, because he's a very good winner of the Guineas, and from a commercial perspective, there's no way he's going to go down the Ledger route. He's going to be a big stallion for them.
Okay, does Kew Gardens win this Derby trial?
I do believe he does.
Does Kew Gardens win this Derby trial?
I think so. He has a penalty on some interesting unexposed sorts against him, but that 2-year-old form is really strong, and he'll definitely stay. So yeah, I think he'll win.
Good stuff. Well, let's move on to the Curragh. It'll be the second meeting of the year. We'll talk about the two that are listed in the group race. Start with the Seoul Paris Sprint, and James Tate's horse, I know, is over early. He's surely top of the market here, Shane, is he?
Killang Rock around about 5-2. We'd imagine Tom to go off for the Seoul Paris Sprint this year. Is renewed 4-1. Then we go about Arhumi 6-1. Then about Primo Umo. Grain will be about 6-1. We'll go 12s bar.
Brendan, are we back to a situation where you should just pay close attention to English sprinters and Irish races here, or what's your thinking?
Probably. The rain today slightly complicates things, but I think it was going to be fairly soft ground anyway. This horse has no problem with soft ground. Improved all throughout its 3-year-old campaign. Travelled like a complete monster in Musselburgh and come back.
That was a good race.
It was Alpha Delphini's a solid horse. Yeah. He was quite weak in the betting, Alpha Delphini, so perhaps he wasn't quite 100%, but it's still a good performance in the context of this race, and I thought that the Killang Rock would be hard to beat here.
Yeah, can you look past Killang Rock here?
No, I think he's probably the bet of the weekend in racing. I don't think that the home opposition is the May West here, to be honest. I don't think he's an awful lot to beat. I mean, what would you put up against him? Ardhumi, solid horse, rated 104, but you know he's pretty exposed. And as Dukey said, just travelled so well the last day. Ground is no problem. I think he's going to be very well back this horse. So I would advise taking whatever price tonight.
On him. Yeah, absolutely. Right, Shane, on to the Plus Vital Blue Win Stakes. I assume Jaga tops the market here.
Very, very short. Tom around a bit even money. We expect this one to go off 3-1. Then Bye Bye Baby 6 is about Clear Sky 8-1. Pants Down will go 16s bar.
Okay, Dukey, you can take out the Jaga drum here because I know you're a fan.
Oh, massive fan. So I went to that student day in Leopardstown.
Did you?
Don't put the two things together. You went to watch the horses.
Well, I did specifically because I mean it's a real challenge for the racegoer to wade through those students to get to the horses.
Anyway,
you wade through students.
Oh yeah, the slowest moving species known to man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. But anyway,
One man's Everest and all that.
Yeah, but I made it through the sea of flesh to get to see Jaga, and what a specimen she is. Really strapping filly, and so impressed from the race. Just travelled away through the race, bolted up, found plenty off the bridle. She's a beautiful mover. I'd say she'd be a better filly on better ground. Mixed messages from the form. The third's obviously won the Cheshire Oaks. The second got beaten out the gap by Flattering in Cork. But I'd say it was a decent race, and she is a potential star.
Okay, Johnny, can you look past Jaga here?
I'm going to take her on at the prices. Clear Skies for me. Slight question mark about the ground at Cork. She was very weak in the betting. I think this was the day Cork's ground was like they might as well have been running in the nearby Blackwater. It was that bad, and she travelled really well and totally cut out on the ground. We spoke about her a lot here over the course of the winter, which obviously she was a very good filly in the all-weather, but turf is no problem to her. I still think she's going to have a good turf campaign. They've kept her in training. Obviously, I think she might be 5 now. Very well bred filly, and just I wouldn't underestimate the challenge of a maiden winner coming in to take on these older fillies. And I'm not sure how good Jay is.
It's plenty of weight though as well.
Yeah, it does. But in fairness, this horse has been hard trained, and has gone to the well many times. Nearly always runs her race. Little bit disappointed Lingfield, fair enough, but I could see her running very well here.
Right, let's move on to Sunday's action. We're at Leopardstown and Longchamp, or Parry Longchamp, I think we're supposed to call it now. Anyway, let's start off with the French Guineas. Start with the Prix de Poulain there. Shane, will you have a few prices for that one?
Yep, Wouton, of course, who bypassed the English equivalent 9-4 for the French 2000 Guineas. Almeida 5-2, Dice Roll 9-2, 15-2. Then we go about US Navy Flag, 14's Hegam and 16's Bar.
What do you fancy here, Cheeky?
I found it very difficult, Tom, and I don't fancy anything.
Okie doke, well that's short and sweet. Do you fancy anything in France?
One of the golden rules of this game is you bluff, Dukey. Even if you've no belief system whatsoever.
He's an outlier.
I told you,
I'm the worst
poker player in the world.
That was as snappy as your blog on Paddy. I can't mention the bookmaker, but short and snappy. Wotton is my selection here. By Wotton Bassett, who's obviously got an Almanzor. Probably a stallion that could do good things if he were over here. He's based in France, but this horse is unbeaten. Holds Almeida on form last time and just looks to have a fair chance.
Not ground dependent either. Is one.
Not ground dependent. US Navy Flag. I think the ground is decent over there. Now he would definitely want, like his run in Leopardstown, you can completely ignore. But we do have to see there is this contention that Warfronts don't train on. May or may not be true, really. It might be one of these kind of racing myths, but he does have to prove that he's trained on a very hardy 2-year-old.
Okay.
What's that?
Roly-Poly did okay.
Roly-Poly did.
She progressed well.
But quite a lot of them haven't. I think it's probably a bit of a myth, but the ground is the most important thing for him, so I'd wait for the ground, but I'm going to go with the Wotton.
Okay, and the Fillies, Shane at 3.15, Poulet de Pliche.
Yep, Polydream 7-2, Thump 5-1, then Barca 11-2, Musis Amica 7-1, Cour Debut. You're going to have to excuse the French here. 7-1, Could It Be Love, a bit more simpler. 12-1, Zanzan will go 14 Spar.
Anything here, Cheeky?
I do have one here.
Good.
The Polydream lost the unbeaten record behind Wild Illusion in the old Marcel Boussac.
Oh, beautiful pronunciation.
I thought Wild Illusion ran a perfectly good race in Newmarket on ground. It was probably quick enough for her. I think that's strong form, and I thought Polydream was a worthy fab here.
Good stuff. Johnny, do you have a French filly you like?
I'm not even sure. Do I have a French filly I like? Where do we start? But no, Polydream's a great chance. I was at Chantilly when she was second, very, very well fancied. Magical was back and forth. It was a bit of a muddin race, if I remember correctly, but she was very well fancied. Yeah. And, Freddie Head's top French trainer, 7-2 would be a fair each way price here, I think.
Good stuff. Let's move on to Leopardstown. We just mentioned the 2 classic trials at Leopardstown. In the 310, the Derrenstown Stud 1,000 Guineas trial. Should we tell Leopardstown it's already run? Or is it Irish 1,000 Guineas trial? Anyway, anything jumping off the card for you here, Cheeky?
Magical has the penalty to concede to Mary Tudor, and Mary Tudor's no mug. I certainly don't think she'll be inconvenienced by the drop back and trip. She travelled really well in Navan. She's a good filly, but Magical probably should be good enough off the back of a comeback run. Yeah.
You with Magical or are you with Mary Tudor? Or
I tend to agree. The comeback run is the crucial thing here. Just Aidan's horses, definitely.
As he said himself, they might grow another leg.
They might, yeah. I would tend to agree with that. Algebra is quite interesting. It's a very, very well bred filly. She was far from impressive at Dundalk. I think she went off about 4s on, but she won like a 14-1 shot really. But they blamed making the run on her. And in fairness, when she was headed or at least challenged, she came back again. She's a half sister to Autad. She was second to Contingent on debut, who's a horse I really fancy for the.
That's a form line you like.
It is absolutely, but she was well clear of the third as well, and I think she's nice. I definitely would be looking at her each way. I think she might be overpriced, but Magical should take the beating. Do
you have some prices for the Derrenstown Derby trial?
Yeah, we'll go about 11-8 about Magical, Tom.
No, for the Derby trial.
Oh, for the Derby trial, Nelson will be around 7-4, 9-4, then we go about the Pentagon. Delano Roosevelt 7-2, and the King will be around 10, so we'll go 20s bar.
Well, have you abandoned the Pentagon as yet, or are you still retaining the faith?
I don't know, I'm so conflicted, Tom. I mean, what is going on here?
14s now with Ladbrokes for the Derby.
Well, the Shrudies are on at 10s, but basically what I don't understand is, how can this horse not have trained on? We've already seen, as I knew, because I'm shrewd, that the Doncaster form was the strongest 2-year-old form of all. Roaring Lion probably would have been second if he'd run straight. The Warrior goes and wins. This horse runs a massive race there. He's bred to only improve as a 3-year-old, and he turns up here and completely blows out on... I mean, it was bad ground.
On the heavy, though. Like, I mean,
yeah.
It was really bad for Leopardstown.
It was a very disappointing race.
Wettest April since the 40s, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which included your student day.
Indeed, yeah. It just doesn't make sense that this horse wouldn't have trained on, so I'm going to stick with the Pentagon. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Pentagon.
Are you...
Tentative, I mean, I would nearly ignore that one. I think he was favourite, just looking at it here. There's virtually nothing between these O'Brien horses. Nelson, another Frankel horse. What's not to like about him? He's such a likeable horse. Delano Roosevelt, we have a lot of American references here, but the Pentagon, you have the Dead 8 as well. He might even be a semblance of an each-way price. I'm willing to forgive him.
Right. Yeah. The thought of it of each-way thievery, it's very attractive, isn't it?
It is. It'll get your account closed down, but it's always attractive.
Absolutely.
And in fairness, there's often a non-runner at the gates as well, and that screws the whole thing up.
Oh dear. Right, let's move on. We get some best bets of the weekend. Reminder, of course, Ladbrokes Go. Best odds guaranteed in shops from 12 till 2 every day. So Shane, we'll start with you. Best bet of the weekend and give us a little multiple as well.
I'm going to go with Stream Song in the Oaks Trial at Linkfield tomorrow. Tom will be around about 7-2, hopefully, for John Gosden and Frankie. I'm going to put up, going to give it the Pentagon another chance in the Darrenstown Derby Trial at Leopardstown, and finally Calang Rockdown in the Soul Power.
Juki?
I have one for tomorrow.
Oh, you have one for tomorrow?
I have one for tomorrow. This Kaiser Soze is favourite in the Victoria Cup. Now, it's 29 runners, and you can get track biases in Ascot and what have you, so that is the concern. But has there been a more eye-catching runner in a handicap this season? I mean, this horse, he goes off 8-1 for the Britannia last year. Blows out completely. It isn't seen again since. He's obviously had a problem. Comes back. He's 25-1 for that Spring Cup in Newbury. Yeah. It'll be always a good race. Absolutely saunters into contention. Looks all over the winner, and then either he hit the front too soon or he got tired in the ground. I'm not sure which happened, but I mean, he looked a group horse the way he travelled through that race. Tomorrow, he's around 7-1, favourite granted, but fab for a reason. He's 7-1 in Ascot with the daddy of the Ascot straight track, Jamie Spencer, riding him. Unless there's a massive draw bias here, plenty of pace to carry him into the race as well, this will win. This Kaiser Soze will win the Victoria Cup 4 o'clock in Ascot.
Okie doke. So that's your best bet of the weekend. You're going to give us a couple to pad out the Trixie, or?
Oh yes, let's go for a Trixie. Actually, how did you guess? Let's go with Jaga and Calang Rock. I haven't got the times written there.
Yeah,
cool.
3:20.
And Johnny?
Like the lads, massive Calang Rock fan. Yeah, I think this thing could go off much shorter than the 5-2 mentioned. Juki's selection there, I mean, it's hard not to be sold. This will win on a horse with a 12.5% chance on the odds. You know, I like it. The confidence of a man who is a shrewdie.
Absolutely.
What else am I going to go with? I'm gonna put up Galway to beat Mayo in the Gaelic on Sunday. Standard, yeah. Will Galway beat Mayo? Not if they have Willie Joe, who was actually at New York and Leitrim and got a selfie with me.
I saw that. Yeah.
I actually literally went up to him just to ask him, would he, you know, because sometimes you start thinking in the terms of social media dictating your life, and that was one of those examples.
Perfect example,
and I'm gonna put up the Kew Gardens for the treble.
Okay.
It'll pay
a lot.
It'll pay 12-1 maybe, the three of them, and obviously they'll all win.
Good stuff. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back again next week with more What's the